evening. Welcome to actually a casual boots race, actually between two very excellent runners for the ALTTPR League Week 3. We've got Zelga Desan versus RD Walsh, two teams actually that are undefeated so far coming into league. But unfortunately, of course, that is one of these runners are going to have to break their winning streak and going to have to lose some points to the other team. But it's going to be something a very exciting, very fast race. I am joined here tonight by Days Cloud, the one and only. Days, how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic there, Clear Mouse. Yeah, it's like you said, these two teams are quite good. You could get a maximum of 12 points out of the first 2 weeks, and sure enough, yeah, that's exactly what these two teams did there. As you can see, sitting down there in the bottom right corner, looking right there. It says that they have 12 points, so we're kind of expecting these guys to go fast, even faster than usual, considering it's casual boots.
Yeah, I was going to say, so, at least thanks to our starting items, we can certainly see some very nice, fancy red footwear that is going to let us go fast right from the beginning. And of course, what better quality of life improvement upgrade item do we get with the boots is we get a starting sword. Because if you've ever tried to dash without a sword, yeah, the enemies are not your friends. Nothing, in fact, is your friends, and you are in for. I guess you have to try and really avoid and just kind of watch where you're going. But with the sword, we don't really have to care about that anymore.
Yeah, no, you're right. We can just kind of do whatever and not have to worry about that. If you want to see what happens when you start dashing without a sword there, come back in week 7 when we're gonna do some co-op Enemizer. That's gonna be lots of fun.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think you're gonna actually find out what's gonna happen this week. I was gonna have to probably find out until next week. Is that the next week where you get starting boots?
Yes, I want to say yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is because week 4 we've got the spoiler pilot, and week 5's cross keys, and week 6 is the open match, if I remember right. So
right.
yeah.
Oh. Do people actually still run open these days? It's like we've got so many different modes these days, and variations. It's actually somewhat refreshing to actually see, I would say, a more quote-unquote normal, standard, kind of like back to basics, bread and butter mode. Like, I guess you modified casual boots would be one, and open soon later on. Be a nice palate cleanser. Certainly.
Yeah, exactly. After all of the craziness of the other weeks here, I mean, right now we are just basically, as you can see, we are just watching these guys just hit their dashes almost perfectly. Like, they're not even nudging doors. This is just excellent work here from both sides. As they are making their way down through the kind of standard escape sequence. When we're doing casual boots there, it is basically, hey, let's go through escape, let's do everything that we need. Let's grab a glove out of the very first chest.
Easy,
here.
Right? We've already got one piece of our Dark World access already, not to mention a really nice accessibility item. It's definitely lets us lift up some rocks, and I have every confidence in these two runners that they are able to sequence break up the mountain if they so choose. They don't need that lamp in order to get through the dark room and rescue the old man.
Very true, very true. And we're starting to see here that it looks like, not like it really matters at the moment, but, Zelga having a little trouble with the blue guard here. Both runners actually having a little trouble there. We are seeing that the guards here today are on the bomb prize pack. Now, that's usually something you worry about in standard, but since this is casual boots, we can just bonk open the wall in the back, not have to worry about it. But at the same time, bombs are nice.
Yeah, that was actually a really nice consequence from actually going through the main tournament, is that, unfortunately we did not have a fixed, in this case, like starting boots, so therefore a surefire way where you could get back to escape. So people really ended up learning what all the bomb prize packs are.
Ooh, oh, Walsh getting a little close there to the a no-go zone there. He's down to a single heart there, but got the ball and chain guard down. The first real boss of the game here.
It's, escape. Oftentimes people say, "Oh man, it's so boring." I think these runners just want to get their heart pumping a little bit, right? Or I don't know what a cactus has. Their needles pumping, I guess.
Something, right? And so that ball and chain guard. He's suspicious. He's you walk in there and you're just kind of thinking, oh, okay, I've done this 500 times. But if you put yourself on the wrong pixel, your sword will clink off of his thing. And next thing you know, you're down 2 hearts and you're going, oh god, I got to scramble now.
that seems very consistent with the rest of the game. You just gotta be on the right pixel, then everything is fine. If you get even slightly off, you are in for a world of hurt. Ball and chain guard, as you said, is a very surprisingly difficult boss, especially this early on, right? If we're like what only a couple minutes in, and it is a non-trivial fight for sure.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And a big shout out here right now to RD Walsh deciding that, you know, I'm going to go right side just because I can. It makes no difference.
That's right.
But everybody goes left. He went right. Well done there.
This is the variation that he thinks he needs to introduce in order to take on a runner of Zelka's caliber.
I mean, to be completely honest, I don't see any issue with thinking about like that. When you're going up against a match like this, well, like we mentioned, both teams got 12 points. Like these are a number tied for first place in their division right now. So like you've got to bring your A game. You know you've got to bring your A game. And if it's, you know, something like just doing something that makes you a little bit more comfortable, hey, you know, you go ahead and do that. As Key Rat has been slain over on Zelga's side.
Are you watching these? You mentioned, you know, how good these runners are with their dash lines. Like, are you watching basically how clean Zelga's movement has been?
Yeah, it's not really surprising. To be honest.
It's very it's almost as if he feels comfortable with Boots. Certainly, of course, the same thing with Walsh or RD Walsh. They are really very interested in moving fast.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, we always talk about, like, for, like, the main tournament we were talking about, yeah, you want your escapes to be under 6 minutes and stuff here. Now, we just did a 5:10 escape over on Zelga's side, and RD Walsh there, Walsh is going to have probably something like a 5:20. I mean, that's all movement through escape there. Those are both some excellent times coming through.
Yeah, yeah. I think the only real trouble they had was, of course, I think a little bit trouble with ball and chain, and then just got a little bit tripped up with one of the blue bars. But yeah, otherwise, very, very, very clean. And yeah, we're finally out of escape. Zelka just looks like it gives a very quick map check. I saw a red crystal at Eastern. But you know, looks like our awesome tracker, Yoinker's wife, has already done marked all of the crystals at least and pendants for the light world. So thank you in advance for Yoinker's wife. Definitely a better tracker here to help us out.
Yeah, no, it's a big shout outs again, always to our trackers. And again, I'll throw this out there for anyone. If you're interested in joining up and helping out with this here, we would greatly appreciate it as we get a little divergence early as Zelga is going to run up and take a quick look at what's on Lumberjack there. That's a piece of heart. So we're not going to worry about that one.
Yeah, so in this case, certainly, as you said, a little bit of divergence. If Walsh ends up not checking Lumberjack, or maybe he decides to go up there, you know, he does have another chance potentially if he wants to go up the mountain. Could save himself a little bit of time for himself. And, you know, in a match basically as tightly competitive as something like this, right? Every little bit of time save you can find is definitely going to be to your advantage.
Okay, I was a little concerned there for a second on RD Walsh's side because doesn't have the money yet. He saw that 300 sitting at the mushroom spot, decided not to go and get it immediately, and then decided to come back for it. That is a little bit more what I thought he would do because you want early money. Yeah, for sure. You definitely want early money.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Zora to pay off, you've got Bottle Vendor to pay off, you've got, you know, potential, you know, Dark World stuff like Palace of Darkness, right? You can never have enough money, at least early on.
Oh,
and
yeah,
and especially if you sometimes we've seen some of the qualifiers that have been going on for SGL. Zora has more than once had some sort of progression, but especially early money was a good issue. Actually, yeah. And speaking of further divergence, looks like Walsh has actually some idea of potentially sequence breaking up the mountain.
And it does look like that is exactly what he's doing right now. He's running through the dark rooms there, gonna take the old man out. Zelga going with the more traditional route here, going directly into Kakariko, and gets rewarded with the mirror and the moon pearl.
Yeah, that is actually going to be really nice for Zelga. Very fortunate, because mainly, so actually looks like it's not going to be too much of a time. Looks like RD Walsh is just actually interested in that old man saving quick point. But I was going to say, but because with that mirror, right? Zelda now can, when he decides to come up the mountain, he now actually has immediate access to Hera, which is a clearable crystal for us.
Yeah, we just got to figure out exactly where that big key is, as we get a lot of safeties here in the well, as we get blue mail and half magic. The shield is also there.
You know, the shield has like maybe like one of two uses, right? And of course, it's actually surprisingly useful when you are in the front of a Swamp Palace and you want to try and block up that that shield away, the spear from the moblin.
That is the one time, yes.
You know, we're trying here, right? You know, the shield, I feel like, you know, just doesn't, you know, it gets overlooked a lot, and sometimes you just gotta show a little appreciation.
Yeah, exactly. You just gotta, give it a little bit of love there, be like, hear that one dink, and then you go, oh, it actually did its job today. So we've got a lot of divergence here. Zelga going ahead, he's gonna clear out the rest of Kakariko here. Pretty much the Moon Pearl and the other thing there, and the mirror there at the beginning, going to be the most. We've got RD Walsh going all the way to the desert early, so we're going to get this super early Agina check here over on his side.
Yeah, and of course Agina is one of those locations where it's kind of like a maybe runner's preference. Sometimes, you know, often gets isolated, so if there's something good, not probably what RD Walsh was hoping for, but it is $20 more closer to Zora money, at least. Certainly that is, you know, being so close to 500 rupees, that's probably something that is on his mind, right? So if he can at least get up to some amount of money while he potentially finishes up South Shore, he can probably do the more traditional sequence breakout and water walk over to do some flipper checks.
Yeah, kind of have to see. He needs exactly 20 more rupees to make Zora doable right now, or he's going to have to lift the rock underneath Ice Rod, basically under Ice Rod Cave.
That's right.
So we'll see what he gets here. I'm with 5 items here in Mini Moldorm Cave here, assuming the Moldorms don't completely just run away from him. He should be just fine, as gets him down here. We're going to take a look in just a second here what we're going to get. There's 20 rupees.
Yep. And Zelda is very, very closely behind. Okay, so we got a little bit more money. Oh, wow, okay. RD Walsh finding Ether and Hammer. So for Zelga, assuming he lives through this, he is going to pick up his last Dark World entry requirements.
Yeah, now that's a decision point here for Zelga, dear. Are you gonna take yourself? Yeah, you gonna take yourself all the way to Ice Rod Cave now, or are you just gonna turn around and maybe go directly to Hype Cave at this point? Because you now have total Dark World access, and it looks like Ice Rod Cave is the play here. So both runners gotta have to be a little bit careful there, as yes. they are in Crab World now, and those crabs do 2 hearts of damage, and neither of them have 2 hearts. So
yeah, they don't even have 1. Well, Zelga's got 1 heart, I guess, to work with, but it can certainly be very precarious. You know, so we can certainly see from the green cactar that RD Walsh is definitely on green mail, but certainly on Zelga's side, he hasn't picked up any health or mail upgrades either. Oh, but of course, you know, what better fortune coming out of Kakariko, being able to pick up a couple extra heart pieces in order to get him that refill.
That was 100% planned.
Yes, as he dashes through into the crowd, yes.
But so now into Waterfall Cave here, and nothing. That's a whole lot of nothing now. Zelga taking a second there. He's doing the bomb, basically blowing himself up to get himself onto that 1 pixel next to this. Now he's gonna fake flipper all the way up to Hobo here, which is a little bit slower. But then he still has his water walk armed, so when he leaves Hobo, he'll be able to jump directly down, activate his water walk, and then start dashing like a madman. As Zora's got a bottle for us here, so that's going to be 1 extra check that RD Walsh is going to be able to hit when he finally goes to Kakariko, probably right about now.
That is actually a very interesting point, because you know, Zelda's already done certainly the majority of Kakariko checks. You know, we don't have the flute yet, so potentially we are going to probably have to go back eventually. But yeah, if something here is on Sick Kid, RD Walsh is going to have an early advantage over Zelda.
Alright, got a quick look at the island there, and that's nothing. It was just a red rupee there. But yeah, so I guess eyes are on RD Walsh here as soon as he gets himself over to Sick Kid, and probably find out if this is going to be a bit of an early advantage. It might not matter because Zelga might decide to just go start in Kakariko anyway and just pick up the sick kid check immediately. But you know, there are options right now. As Artie Walsh deciding, that 50 rupees I kind of need a little bit of cash.
That sounds pretty good for, let's say, Palace of Darkness, you know, and of course with the way that Artie Walsh is routed, right, he's going to be able to pick up his Moon Pearl in Kakariko, and then he can basically, as you said, just go immediately to Dark World, right, through the Kakariko portal, so Zelga, though, he kind of has an option. Looks like he's starting in Link's house, so maybe he is interested in going to the more traditional, you know, start at Hype Cave and then make a decision on what he wants to do.
Yeah, this is always one of those where you're not 100% sure. Like Zelga does have a ton of things open. If he wanted to, he could go up Death Mountain and kind of get into Hera, get into Paradox Cave, all of that area over there. Having that mirror kind of makes things a little bit more interesting as we get a quick map check and see that Pod is our green pendant, Swamp Palace being our other pendant, and the 5/6 crystal there down in Misery Mire.
Okay, so Swamp Palace being a pendant, I wonder when the hook shot's going to turn up in this case.
I mean, hookshot is obviously in pendant Pod as we get
our
bow right there.
And a couple chest turns to boot. Thanks, Zelga.
So
we're going Pod, right?
right now, I think if I'm Zelga, there's a decent chance I'd be going left here, but he's going to go right with this.
He just went your other right in this case.
The other right. I can understand this right now. I'm a little surprised at the aggressive Pod play here, but I think this is not necessarily a Pod play as much as it is let's combo Pod and go finish Eastern Palace while we're here.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, so Zelga, of course, in the area, Eastern Palace is a fully clearable crystal dungeon with that bow that he just found. And, you know, I certainly believe Zelga's desire to fully clear Eastern the one and only time that he's there. So this is certainly still very consistent with his cross keys abilities.
I wasn't thinking about that, but yeah, you're right. I guess he has forced the single dip Eastern, which is everything that he would ever want, and he's going to do it with red mail as well. So nice and easy for Zelga here so far. I guess he doesn't need to pick up another heart for the rest of the day. 7 hearts, a bottle, red mail. I mean, his name being the spoilers there, that tells you exactly what mode these guys really like to play and excel at, I'd say.
I think everyone on that team is very, very well versed in, I would say, like low percent or spoil log tournament type of tournament play. So yes, so that's certainly no exception. We technically do need, I guess, a logical lamp or something in order to complete Eastern, and most of Pod in this case. But Zelga, as he's probably more than experienced enough with these dark rooms. Probably is gonna be able to get through these rooms just fine.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now the big
a fire rod though wouldn't really hurt, right?
No, you wouldn't complain about that at all. No, like it's kind of interesting though. I'm kind of wondering if there's any chance at all that Zelga decides to clear out Pod totally, knowing that it is their green pendant. I guess it would have to depend on exactly what he finds, but because he only checked the first item there, got what I didn't actually see what it was. I want to say it was a key, and immediately left.
Yeah, maybe he was interested in, looks like just wants to check out, I guess check out what Eastern has and then make a decision there. Unfortunately, we don't have a flute, so getting back here isn't going to be super convenient, but certainly not going to be unheard of to kind of come back to this area again.
Right, and on the other side here, we have about as much divergence as you could get.
Yeah, this is great actually for us as viewers.
Definitely, because Walsh is sitting here. He's dashing his way through Thieves Town. He's got everything he needs to complete this dungeon here. So we're gonna take this down real fast. Grab the 4 items that are here. Find out if that's gonna give us something else to do.
Yeah, and of course, certainly one of the best things about especially clearing out Thieves Town is when you have the hammer, you don't have to worry about leaving an item potentially in the big chest. Late hammer seeds are always a little bit questionable, just because if you don't have the hammer, do you decide to commit into finishing Thieves Town? But of course, we don't have the dilemma today.
Yeah, luckily that's not an issue because that small key popped up there in chest number 3 here as we had a vanilla big key here out of Thieves Town. So yeah, Walsh is going to grab everything. He's going to be just fine.
Yes.
But so far, I kind of think this early route maybe is a little bit more advantageous for Walsh here, just because I imagine he's going to be going south here out of Thieves Town. I imagine that'll take his route down towards Hype Cave there and grab his bow, where he'll probably end up where Zelga is there kind of just naturally, whereas Zelga's going to have to do a little bit more running there to get back to the portal in Kakariko. I mean, it's a small thing, but casual boots, 20 seconds can be a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you start with boots just means that everything's gonna go by just a little bit faster. And I think you guys do bring up a good point, right? So Zelka's gonna definitely finish up Eastern, see what he does, and then he's gonna have to kind of make a decision, right, about whether or not he wants to continue into Pod, how much he wants to do in Pod, or decide to go somewhere else, right? Artie Walsh, on the other hand, as we said, he's gonna have all of these down. He's gonna have a little bit of Overworld. He's gonna have Hype Cave. He's gonna have a little bit more information before he decides to potentially commit over to the Pod Eastern area.
And he just picked up the mitts, so we can add Smith Chain on to all of that as well.
That is even better in this case for Artie Walsh, right? Yeah, as you said, we now have, with the mirror, right, we can do like so much stuff more efficiently. Right, we are basically going to be able to get everything on our way to Hype Cave. And actually, potentially, with that mitts, maybe he wants to end his route, potentially Hype Cave, and then, the mountain actually is looking pretty appealing right now.
Yeah, it's kind of this is a hard one to say exactly what you want to do at this point here. I mean, I think if you're Artie Walsh, you just kind of clear the things that are on your path. Zelga definitely, as he's setting up for the quick kill here, and he's already got that thing locked down.
Zelga's doing so well.
Yeah, it's like you said, he's got the decision to make. As there's the lamp in the Thieves Town big chest.
All right, so in terms of just quality of life, Artie Walsh is certainly taking, I would say, the more item filled. In this case, he doesn't have to worry about any potential dangerous dark rooms.
Yeah, and that's going to tell us here that if we go into Pod, everything here is going to be into logic, pretty much.
Yeah, actually, and not only can we be able to put things into logic, because we can actually see in dark rooms, that is actually our first fire source on Artie Walsh's side as well. So he's not going to have to worry about potentially abandoning Hera basement either. Not that you really are looking forward to doing a tile room, but if there is something there, right, like the big key, you can actually fully clear Hera confidently.
That is a very good point here, as Artie Walsh goes ahead and he takes down Blind there. Didn't do the script version there. Did something a little different that I, to be honest, I haven't really seen. But
it's impromptu, right? It's a little dance that maybe characters only know.
Exactly, yeah, and that's all he needed. Either way, same result. Blind's dead, and Artie Walsh has picked up his first crystal. So we're back to being tied on crystals, as Zelga decided he came directly into Pod, and I guess we're going to find out if this turns out to be a good decision here.
There's always something in Pendant Pod until there isn't.
Yeah. That's always the key. You come into Pendant Pod and you're like, there's gonna be something in here. There's so many chests. There has to be something in here. And then every once in a while, there's not. Quite often, there's not. And when there isn't, oh man, you do not feel good about sinking that time.
Good. Now, I guess I'm curious, do you think the green pendant is appealing at all? Do you think maybe that's actually worth beating Helmesaur for?
Oh,
I mean, you can also just run right out and turn it into Sahasrara. That is potentially.
See, if you don't do it, you're not coming back till the very end of the game. That's the thing.
Yes, that is absolutely true, because there's no way that you're going to come over here just for this one thing.
Right, and shout outs to the green 20 that that Walsh just picked up there in Dig Game there. That would be our boots, except we're starting with them today, so that's kind of the thing. I don't see Zelga finishing the dungeon, honestly. I think you just leave Helmesaur and just kind of go with it. Now, granted, if Helmesaur turns out to have an item, or if it's on the green pendant and you finish it, yeah, congratulations, you just won the match. But I mean, yeah, I don't know the extra 2 minutes that it would take to do that, especially in the dark.
That is certainly a good point. I mean, like the time commitment in order to get these 2 checks, especially it's on the minute scale, right? It's not even on the second scale at this point. It could actually be quite a commitment, especially this early, right?
I don't think Zelga would have any problem with the turtle rooms there, knowing that he's got Ether and Hammer right there. He can just, hammer twice in the room there and then just shock them all with the Ether as, yeah, he's gone through and he found out, yeah, that's nothing really it. And yeah, I think we are going to Helmesaur, actually.
Okay, alright, so this is Zelga going to be pretty thorough on his part. Going to definitely not leave anything isolated. So certainly we're going to have to hope that Zelga, I'm sure he'll pick up a couple extra hearts along the way to the back of Helmesaur, to Helmesaur, but I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah, there's the 3 right here that he'll grab for sure here, as Walsh is going ahead and he's going to make his way down south. He's just going to check all of the normal things. He's just doing a very standard, kind of sweep of the southern route, especially with those mitts there. He's taking purple chest along with him. He's probably he's going to leave purple chest right now, though. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, no shovel. It's not going to be the end of the world if we end up finding it later on, because it is a pretty quick dash over, but unfortunately, we can't combo it right now.
Right, and we are off over to the purple chest is technically following Walsh right now. It's just, even though you can't see it, trust me, it is there. And Zelga's down into the dark rooms here, so yeah, it's time for a lot of interesting times here. So if you're a Zelga fan, if you're rooting for the spoilers today, you're gonna really want there to be something here.
Yes.
As purple chest just having a blue boomerang over there on Walsh's side, so not exactly that paying off, but he's gonna end up over here in just a second, as there is the ether cast there from Zelga. I don't think he got them all, so now he's gonna have to hunt for this last turtle in here. So this is gonna add more seconds to his route here, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I'm kind of unfortunate. So Zelga did a really nice job being able to hunt down that last one. I was gonna say being on Fighter Sword is also somewhat gonna be a little bit slower, mainly just because when you're hunting for that guy, right? Like when you do a sword spin, unfortunately the Fighter Sword is not strong enough to kill it. You have to kind of do it multiple times. You have to kind of fall back with a hammer. It's just a little bit more time, right? Versus you have like Master Sword versus Tempered.
Right, and well, it looks like we are back into Helmesaur, as Walsh has picked up his bow and is heading directly over to this same sort of area, it looks like, and that is and we do have the spin speed activated over on Zelga's side here, gonna lengthen that hammer hitbox just a tad, make it a little bit easier to take out Helmesaur here. You can just kind of walk up to his face and smack him.
Yeah, the discovery or the development of Spin Speed Helma is probably one of like the nicest thing that the energy community has discovered in recent times. Like, it makes the fight super much more safer and much more consistent. Especially on Fighter Sword, you really don't want to you don't really want to be trying to take down Helma with something like that. Yeah,
definitely. Now, if I'm not wrong here, Clear Mouse, that pendant pod had a whole lot of nothing.
You are not wrong. We still have hopes in this case for that green pendant turnip, which looks like Zelda is going to do immediately. So hopefully he's not going to feel too bad on this return if it has nothing. But we certainly hope that it has something.
Well, we're gonna find out right now. He holds it up, and that's just 10 arrows. So that's a whole lot of feels bad. Now we're gonna have to watch if now Walsh over here, he's got that lamp. So if he wants to, he's gonna know in his head that the mountain is fully into logic at this point here. I kind of wonder if that's where Zelga is not doing this. It's going to be kind of interesting here, because what is Walsh going to do when he goes here? Because I kind of feel like he might check pod too. I think it's aggressive not to check pod considering you're here.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you made the decision to come all the way out here. And Pod, as you said, I mean, without having gone in, it's got, some good number of items that you can look forward to. It's got such high potential. Certainly we've seen the lack of expectations met on Zelga's side, but, Walsh doesn't know that, right? I would be curious to see if he actually decides to commit and finish Helmo. Like, that might be something, right? Because, as you said, we have the lamp on Walsh's side, got the mist, got the mirror. There are some potentially, very lucrative things that, that he could do instead. And
Yeah.
it is a couple minutes extra time in order to get to the back.
It's an interesting decision here because I mean, if you're Walsh, you've got the mountain. The mountain is sitting there, it's calling you, and you've got to kind of decide: do I want to take the time to go finish off, basically green pendant Helmesaur, or do I want to run up the mountain and probably get my progression up there because that is the more dense area there.
Mm-hmm. And of course there is Hera, right, which is another fully clearable crystal for him. So I did hear that in order to win this game, you do need to collect 7 crystals.
That is how we do this. Yeah.
Okay.
No more of this 80 keys. No more of this 80 keys junk that we did the last week where we had to clear everything in the game, including Aga Tower and all the other stuff here.
Are you just talking about your personal experience running your 80 keys last week, Days? or should we just not talk about that one seed?
just because I left something on left side swamp means nothing. All right.
Left side swamp has never burned any runners, including
never burned anyone except for me and Nep at the same time in the same race. As we keep moving on here with both of these guys, just trading places here. I guess we'll say this, since we're an hour 30 minutes into the seed, make sure to go ahead and give these runners a follow, give the SpeedGaming networks a follow, give everyone a follow here. Definitely show your support, as these guys are putting on a great show. As you can see by the point totals next to their names, they are part of the two of the top teams in this league so far, and if you enjoy them, they would definitely appreciate your support. Also, big shout outs again to our tracker there, Yoinker's wife, and my amazing co-commentator Clear Mouse today. Thank you for joining me as always.
Oh no, of course, Days. It's always a pleasure to be here with you. Do you remember early on when you said that you just have to be on the right pixel? Did you just see that dash that Zelda did?
Yeah, that was the right pixel.
Was that the right pixel? Yeah, okay.
That was the right pixel. We call that one the God pixel for a reason, because it looks real sweet when you go right through it like that.
Yeah, so you certainly do have to line yourself up correctly. You do need a little bit of enemy cooperation because, just because you get on the right pixel does not mean the enemies have to as well. So it's certainly a very fortunate turn. Zelga's gonna pick up his boots. And I think that's actually a nice contrast from a little bit earlier, where also if you just happen to not be on the right pixel, I think it was the front 4 where we saw Zelga unfortunately take a small bonk, but he bonked himself right into that bunny beam. So it's like, not only is the bonk punishing, right? It's like it's extra punishing because you have to go through the bunny beam animation, you have to walk for a couple seconds, and then you have to wait for yourself to turn back.
Yeah, and wow. Walsh, even before going over to Eastern Palace,
actually,
shout outs.
This is a very interesting decision. I mean, I guess maybe with his routing, just you can maybe save a couple mirror transitions by doing Pod first. But yeah, he is definitely committed to all of Pod.
Yeah,
this is before Eastern. Mm-hmm.
This is good. This is quick on his side for sure. So we're here in this. We're going to go directly back to Helmesaur here. With that lamp, he's going to have a much easier time, as Zelga now sees exactly where the lamp was.
It's like, I could have used that 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean, I am a little surprised. Like, to be honest, I think this is a play I don't make. I'm a little surprised that both runners made it. But yeah, no, I mean, I can't really argue with it. But unfortunately, we know that it's not going to work out. That's the thing. Like, we know it's not going to work out. But wow, this is a pretty good fighter sword clear for of that turtle room on Walsh's side.
It's amazing what you can do when you actually see the turtles.
Yeah, just like, oh, there they are. I can hit it now.
Zelda actually taking on Blind. He's got, the Fire Shield to his name, which is certainly an upgrade. Not needing it, of course. We didn't hear any dings. Looks like he followed the Blind script pretty well, given that Blind kind of ended up in the upper left-hand corner.
And we are now taking the 17 swacks to the Helmesaur's helmet here, and not going for spin speed, it looks like, on Walsh's side. Oh, there it is. Okay. And
Yeah.
he's got it.
Yeah, it looks like he maybe just wanted to, so you basically get the same effect if you just kind of hold down your sword and try and hit the hammer, use the hammer as well, but certainly for phase 2, that's, it's not going to be something that, the spin speed version is going to be a lot nicer.
All right, so what do we have now? Like, what do we have now that's new that we haven't seen from either runner? I'm thinking we've got the mountain, and
yeah, we've got all the mountain.
Skull Woods, Pyramid Catfish, Graveyard Ledge.
All of so we have all of the mountain, which is I don't know, maybe close to like 15-ish, 20 checks or something like that. Having Hera, yeah, Death Mountain, Dark Death Mountain, Hookshot Cave. I guess at least part of Hookshot Cave, depending on what else we find. And then you listed all of these really inconvenient locations, right? Graveyard Ledge, Catfish. These are kind of like one-off ones. So, and certainly there are locations that seem to be more appealing for our runners to go.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be really interesting to see here because Zelga is finishing up Dig Game. I kind of expect with just getting those mitts right now, he's gonna be. That was a decision on his side there. He thought about it for a second. But he's going to go ahead and do Smith Game now, Smith Chain now, and clear out what is here. It's probably one of those things you do this because you hope you never have to come back, and if it's gone now, then great, it's finished and you're done. But see what he does here. Like I imagine take the purple chest home after doing this, after doing the rest of the checks here. As after all of this, it kind of looks like what's going to end up happening, Clear Mouse, is we're going to end up with both runners having the exact same dungeons done in different orders.
Yeah, and then both of them are just going to rush up the mountain. Yep.
Exactly. And we're going to be here at about the 40-minute mark. We're just going to be like, well, and now everybody finds everyone, and we're just going to restart the race, more or less.
Oh, easy. Okay, yeah. We're still gonna start with boots, though, right? If we start, the race. Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's all that really matters.
This is gonna kind of show you if one person kind of had a bit of an execution advantage or some other things. I mean, already Walsh having the lamp here. It's not a huge time save, but it is a time save being able to see where you're going. I mean, all of the runners in the Invitational League can do the dark rooms, but I mean, it doesn't matter how good you are at dark rooms. I mean, it's still faster to know where things are.
Yes, like when you know when you can see where the enemies are, it's always going to be faster. I mean, but it's also just a testament, basically, for how good these runners are. The fact that they can do these dark rooms so well, right? That the time differential, the time gap is significantly smaller than you might expect.
No, definitely, and we're back into kind of one of the more annoying dark rooms there in the game there, because it's deceptively simple, but at the same time, the moment that you mess it up, it just completely goes to hell.
Very sad.
It can get so bad so fast.
There's a reason why they put you can exit the room and then immediately hop down to one of the pods and get a variant refill. Like there's a reason for that.
Yeah, because it's painful otherwise here. So it looks like Zelga might be the first to the end of his route right here. Yeah, we saw RD Walsh skip the big chest in Eastern Palace. I'm not 100% sure if he found all of the items. I imagine he did if he skipped the big chest. But I can legitimately say I don't know.
Yeah, actually, so I remember on Zelka's side, it was the map, and I think the compass was in Cannonball chest. So there's definitely an item here. So I guess RD Walsh is not going to get punished if he just accidentally forgot, maybe.
Well, either way, Yap gets his red rupee. Zelga goes out to Agina's and finishes out his route. So it looks like Zelga might be the first to make this decision up the mountain, I imagine.
So presumably also he's gonna grab King's Tomb while we're out here. Never mind. We do have the mirror out, so maybe this is going to be a North Dark World trip.
No, it looks like it. Looks like
maybe
it is.
not. No, he's going up the mountain, so never
Yeah,
mind.
it looks like we are going directly up here, and RD Walsh gets his amazing Helmesaur thing, dashes into the wall in frustration, and takes off.
Well, I mean, certainly he probably won't feel as bad if he knew that Zelga also did the same thing. I mean, maybe not the dash and frustration part, but you know, the fact that Zelga also full cleared out pod just makes it even up for these runners.
I do kind of wonder if both runners going, oh god, did the other guy not do this?
Oh no, did Walsh just get dead rocked? Oh, that
dead
so
rock
sad.
is. That dead rock is just sitting in the worst possible location here. So yeah, like we said here, it's well, a little bit earlier than I said it was, but we are both directly on the mountain right now, and basically beat for beat with the other person, right? So this is quick. So we're gonna take a quick look inside King's Tomb, see a piece of heart, decide not King's Tomb, but Spec Rock.
Yeah, we want to see King's Tomb, but it looks like actually Walsh did not decided to also just head straight up the mountain as well. Right, because he had got up the mountain earlier, and he had the same equip point, right? So he has no incentive to start a sank. Yeah.
Exactly. So like there was no need for him to do that, but so let's both go into Hera together here and show you how amazing this dungeon is when you don't have a hook shot to go cheat your way up to the top.
This might show maybe just how practiced these guys are at NMG. You know, in NMG you do come here with the boots, you come here with the fighter sword, and you pick up the mirror from the old man, so it's going to be very similar.
Zelga.
Zelga meant to probably hit that switch earlier. Ooh, okay, interesting. We find a book. That's actually pretty convenient, considering there is an ether tablet that we can at least take a peek on, unless we get, of course, our second items that could be like a master sword or something.
Yeah, and interesting here. Now I kind of see what Walsh is doing. He skipped the lobby chest here, so what he's doing is he's hoping that both items are here in the climb over. And kind of interested, why would you do the bomb jump here?
I don't know.
But either way, all right. So Zelga's gonna go ahead and do the same bomb jump, and then be able to just dash right back across, not have to bonk. But either way, yeah, RD Walsh was hoping that both items would be on the climb, therefore he wouldn't have to go get the map chest. If it works out for you, you save a second. If it doesn't work out for you, because like say the second item is in the basement, then you know you don't lose anything really. It's one of those.
You're gonna go over there eventually, right?
Yeah, it's one of those small gambles you make, and then you hope that it actually works out. I don't think it is. It's not going to this time for him. Well, I think that might be an item in the basement.
Yes, that is correct. Because we already saw the map and compass. Of course, compass just dropped on Moldorm, so. Okay, so this is going to be an interesting decision for also both our runners, because they do have a lamp. Alder Walsh is definitely going to get the lobby chest, right? Because he hasn't gotten any items out of Hera. So I guess, is he going to be slightly more incentivized to stay and do the basement? I don't know. Zelga, though, is not heading back in.
I don't fault this choice.
This is so interesting. It's just like this tiny little decision, right? That Walsh decided to, in this case, decided to maybe skip the lobby checks, right? Kind of like led to, I would say, probably like a minute differential, right? Just for this dungeon.
Yeah, I mean the lobby chest, not the lobby chest, but the tile room down here, like it's a minute to do pretty much, but if you do it and your opponent doesn't, you're gonna win the game. Pretty much. That's really what it is after a point, because like at this point, I think Zelga's more or less going to be last locationing this. So if this is something, you know, congratulations. But I can already see that Zelga's teammates are a little nervous sitting here in the chat now.
We're all kind of nervous right now to see what this item is, and he is not going to. Zelga in this case, kind of sharing some of RD Walsh's earlier luck about not being punished by skipping a chest, is also going to breathe a sigh of relief here.
Yeah, 100% here is we again see over on Walsh's side there that is just the bug net sitting on ether tablet. So that's something we are not going to be getting today.
Unfortunately, we are not unfortunately going to be getting that. Maybe if this was swordless, they would turn back for it. But
well,
we don't
swordless,
have
I
to deal with
100% get that thing.
Oh, hello, hookshot. Oh, look how convenient that is. So now we can fully clear out the mountain. Why didn't we come into this paradox first? We could have hookshotted our way up.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's just one of those things. In retrospect, it's like, I think it's also something that runners also do. Sometimes they try and find the hook shot over here in Paradox. But of course, we'll just find our fire sources, both of them. You know, fire rod, bombos. I think that's our ticket into Ice Palace as well.
Yeah, fire rod, bombos, and a mushroom there just to add to the intrigue of, hey, what's going to be on that mushroom? So I guess we'll have to make a trip over there to check it out in just a minute. But yeah, no, this Paradox cave has a couple of things.
Yeah, just a few. Okay, so of course, you know, with the mirror, with the hook shot, Zelga's going to be very efficiently going to clear out the rest of Dark Death Mountain. And then this is going to be an opportunity to see what the Turtle Rock Medallion is. We already have 2 of them. Artie Walsh is going to pick up his bombos here very shortly, so we have a 2/3 chance that we're going to be able to get in. We don't have the cane, of course, so we can't actually make any progress. But at least that means there's 1 fewer medallion we have to hunt for later.
Right, and right now you're gonna have to add to everything we did to get the shovel there out of Super Bunny Cave. So let's take a quick look at what our Turtle Rock Medallion is. That's gonna be Ether, so we do have access to that. But like you mentioned, no cane yet. We still got Hookshot Cave here.
I was gonna say, like, how often do you just see like cane or like Ice Rod just kind of sitting here in Hookshot Cave, just like ready to go for you? It's like, you ready to take on Turtle Rock with Fire Sword? You are now.
Oh man, there's a flute as well, and flippers. Oh, okay. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, Clear Mouse. If I'm either of these runners right now, I'm losing my mind. I am so nervous. I am so nervous just because of what everything that we got. So you had a decision there. Like Walsh had a decision at one point there where he could go to basically go into Eastern Palace, go into Pod. All of that stuff, he could do that, right? Or you could have come up the mountain. So in your head, when you're running at this level, you're thinking to yourself, oh my god, what if my opponent went up to the mountain? Because right now, you will feel so behind. You're both runners, they did exactly the same thing. They don't know that. They're in their head. There's a voice in their head right now going, I might be completely dead.
That is, you know, and it is so hard to kind of shake that feeling off, right? Because yeah, as you said, so think about in this case all of the extra stuff, especially the fact that Pod didn't have anything, including Green Pen and Turn In, right? Because what you could have done is you could have just come to Thieves Town, right? It was a very natural decision to come to the Dark World, finish that up, got in your midst, went immediately, basically up the mountain at that point, and just think of all of the crystal dungeons that are open to you.
Yeah, and this is the moment here where I think, to be completely honest, I kind of expect Zelga to come up here to Skullwoods, which looks to be where he's headed, and clear this out. And one thing that I did notice, it's not particularly likely, but one thing that I did notice is that we did get every item we need to pull the pedestal.
We can certainly at least check it. Presumably that's what Zelga is going to do after he finishes up Skullwoods.
Right. I mean, that's what I mean. A lot of times you just kind of maybe flat out ignore the pedestal. In a race like this, you're just like, yeah, it's never ped. It never is. But like right now, you got everything you need. And we are missing Samaria, and we're missing Ice Rod, and possibly Quake.
Yeah, so, maybe. Yeah, of course. And yeah, Zelga, presumably he is going to get both items. Looks like at least he's going to full clear out the front of Skullwoods. And then, you know, after that, it's probably going to be a flute out to Mire, and just to make sure that, you know, if we need to go find another medallion, basically.
And yep, nice little clip there by Zelga getting through the spike, doing real well. And yeah. Gonna mirror out. Doesn't look like we got a single item out of that front, it looks like.
Yeah, the front of Skull Woods, as Zelga has shown here very conveniently, has no value. I want that for the record.
Yeah,
Unlike Eastern Palace.
there's a reason why we just rush to the back quite often when you have Fire Rod. It's just because if the items are back there, you don't have to do the front, and then you're great. But then again, if you're on Fighter Sword and you pull out a sword out of the front, and you did the back first.
Yeah.
You feel a little silly then.
Yes, you know, at least the good news is that they do have half magic. They do have the hammer. They're on Red Mail as well, so a Master Sword would be super great. Not going to be the end of the world, I think, if they end up not finding it. And I think we got confirmation that both items are going to be back here, right? Because we found the compass in the vanilla Bicky chest.
Believe so, yes. And as Artie Walsh finally just gets tired of dealing with those Gibdos, pulls out his ether and just says,
very, very reasonable.
you guys go away now. Thank you.
This is one of those rooms where you watch like the good NMG runners do it. They're just like, oh, let me just move the statue. Nothing's gonna get in my way, and they make it look so easy. And then you try it, and you're just like, oh, jeez, like what did I get myself into?
Big shout outs to our tracker right now. Yoinker's wife there informing us that we did miss that there was a piece of heart in the front. So it was, we are looking for only a single item actually.
All right, so it's worth. Zelga's gonna hope he wants this item to be on Mothula because that means we don't have to do anything else. Looks like Walsh though is actually gonna go directly to the bridge chest first.
Of course.
Oh man, that is like one of the worst things that you want to see because in order to get that item potentially, which Walsh is confirming that because that's a small key in the bridge chest, we are gonna like the last item is gonna be the big chest of Skullwoods, and you have to walking out of the back of Skullwoods is not fast.
Yeah, and we're gonna since we're here, it's time to go see. Do we have Ice Rod? Do we have Samaria on the pedestal today? We have bombs, so yeah.
Nothing that we need in this case. If you know the fact that Zelka knows that, potentially speaking, if he decides to try and do more pendant dungeons, he probably actually just saved and put out before the pendant even drops. So could have saved himself a little bit of extra time.
Very true there, very true. And man, Walsh having a little trouble today with Moldorms and Gibdos just wanting to hug the cactus, and I don't recommend that mostly, but hey, if they, you know, that's what they want to do, I guess.
I was gonna say, like, the cactus, there's a reason why it's covered in needles, right? Like, it's trying to avoid and ward off enemies, no?
Yeah, but yeah, here we are anyway. So, okay, we're into the Moth fight right now, and Moth being all kinds of jerk over here, but it takes him down.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna like cactus spikes versus actual like physical spikes. But of course, it's a good thing, of course, that Artie Washes in this case was one out. Zelga painfully, slowly, not dashing back to the big chest of Skullwoods. Unfortunately, it was only a heart piece. But at least he has the confidence that he never has to go back there ever again.
Right, now it's time to go check at least one of our fetch quests here. The mushroom turn in is going to give us 3 bombs as well. Zelga takes one look at that and leaves immediately. And then I imagine we're headed down to the Misery Mire area, and sure enough we are. Let's find out if we're going to need another medallion or if we're going to be good to get in there at this point. Still missing Samaria, so...
Yeah, still missing Samaria, still missing Ice Rod. Alright, looks like it's going to be double Ether today, so no Quake Hunt, which is one fewer Ice Rod, or Quake Rod in this case, to worry about.
Exactly. One fewer thing that we need to... Oh, hey, look, Samaria.
Look, there he is. Just right under the doormat. So Zelka's probably going to go into Mire right after this. It's not probably going to be the most comfortable of fights on Fighter's sword. So hopefully, you know, there are 2 items in Mire, right? Let's just hope they're both swords, right?
That would be nice,
yes.
But this is again, I think, a moment where I think Zelga's now going, oh god, this has been unbelievably linear, and I did a full clear pendant pod.
He might not also feel great about the like South Dark World overworld. It didn't get him anything, so like it's a very natural thing to do. But again, it's extra checks that didn't yield him anything, right? Coupled that with the fact that he did pendant pod pretty early, may not rest very well with him at this point.
Yeah, I mean, for his benefit, he doesn't know right now that Walsh did the exact same thing.
Yep.
and gonna get a little bit more divergence here, as basically the only thing that we are looking for as far as in the commentary booth is the ice rod. We don't know where it is.
Of course, Zelda
Walsh gets the God Mire.
Yeah,
there, of
Zelda, of
course.
course, is rewarded, of course, with when you don't, when you want the Bicky to show up later because you're still trying to find items. Of course, it doesn't. The game's not that nice.
Yeah, we got a little divergence here as Walsh is going to go over. He's going to give us a quick look at what's sitting in Graveyard Ledge as Zelga is going to take that big key, and we're going to go directly back to Vidi on this side. If Ice Rod is sitting on Vidi, this is the play to make. This is the play to make anyway.
Very, very happy. Yes. And of course, those more astute observers might say, well, we're still on Fighter Sword. We are going to need another sword somewhere. Zelga's got, there are 3 other swords out there. Like, there's probably one GT, there's probably one TR somewhere. I'm sure we'll stumble upon another one somewhere along the way.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, at some point you just kind of have to play for swords in GT. Now, oh man, there's another decision point coming up in this seed fairly soon. We got everything we need for Swamp.
Yeah, I was really hoping we wouldn't have to go in there.
Yeah.
But you are correct, Days, in that after picking up the flippers from Hookshot Cave, that was our last piece of the puzzle as barrier to entry to Swamp Palace.
Okay, now we got a Fighter Sword Vidi fight coming over here on Zelga's side. First thing we're going to do is take bombs and just throw them at the eyes, try to soften them up the best we can, and then probably going to take out the arrow, go up against the right side of the wall there, and just start unloading the best you can.
Yeah, and the fact that Zelga does have a full quiver to his name, right, 30 arrows, soften up quite a bit with those bombs. Does have to be a little careful right now. He only has a green potion to his name, no extra health. He does a red mail, does soften the blow up a little bit. Oh, jeez.
He doesn't want to test this theory, though.
He doesn't really want to die. Oh my gosh, that eye, Zelga.
Get on the right wall, bud. Just get on the right wall. You're safe on the right wall.
Alright, maybe one more arrow. Alright, nice side snipe there on Zelga's side. Holy frick, that was about as close as a fight as we're gonna get.
And just gets rewarded with the small key there. Now, Walsh, on the other hand, we're gonna do something a little different. We ran all the way up to Catfish. Got ourselves the Ether Medallion. Not the Ether Medallion, Powder up there. Got ourselves Powder.
Powder, Ether Medallion are pretty much the same thing anyway.
Yeah, sparkly stuff. And we're gonna go into Ice Palace over here on his side. Now this is gonna be a bit of a I hate to call it a time loss, but it's a time loss. And Zelga, do you not getting any of the items out of I think
that is correct. I think you're right, Daisy. Like, we got like a dungeon item or two. We got a lot of keys. And looks like Zelga is hopefully he is not influenced by some previous decisions that he had made, like, clearing Pendant Pod, doing some overworld stuff that he thought maybe he didn't need to.
That seems a bit like a panic play to me, honestly. A bit of oh god, what did I leave? I need to go. Ice Rod's just going to be in TR sort of play.
Did he end up not checking checkerboard? Or I mean, maybe he'll do checkerboard after Desert, at least the front of Desert at the very least. But I guess like the good news though potentially is that getting back to Mire, it's actually very, very fast, right? It's probably one of the closest dungeons you're going to be able to get to. So maybe Zelga's just kind of hedging. He does, as you said, has Ice Palace fully open to him, right? And with the Canis Mire, it's going to be even faster check, and there's going to be 3 items there, right?
Yeah.
For him.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's still a lot there available to him. It's just at this point you're gambling what the other person did. I think that's really where we are here. Is he pulls out the item? I think it was just a single item that he got out of Desert here.
Yeah, so I think you're right. I think the last item's gonna be on ammo himself. Zelga already knows, of course, from the pedestal check that the pedestal pull is not going to be useful to him. So not sure if that's going to influence his decision.
We got Walsh making his way through Ice Palace, having to do it the slower way, not being able to use Icebreaker because he didn't head over to the mire area there with the Smaria just sitting right in the open. Gets a small key out of a freezer room. He's going to make his way back to the right side here, and this is really what kind of slows you down in Ice Palace when you don't have a Icebreaker. There's just a lot of backtracking involved. It's not an easy dungeon to route, and that's why, even though Icebreaker is a bit of a glitch because you're just going right through a wall. Nobody wants to give it back.
Yeah, I mean, and of course, the way that, of course, Walsh ended up doing, right, he played the more traditional NMG Ice Palace bomb jump version, right? Of course, have to remember he has a pull the tongue because he's doing the dungeon front to back. So the Ice Palace bomb jump has already shortened up the Ice Palace quite a bit, right? So just imagine what it was like in order to clear without the bomb jump, right? And now Iceberg, of course, has made this dungeon even faster. You don't have enough. You can just do the dungeon back to front. I mean, it's like a multiple minute time save in this case.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like we got 2 items over here on the right side. We got Quake, we got Mirror Shield. I mean,
yeah,
Mirror Shield.
These are really unfortunate items that Walsh is like. They are trackable items at least, but we already know that. Oh, sorry, no, well, Walsh potentially doesn't actually know because he might still think that Quake could be required because he hasn't been up a mire yet. But of course, from Zelga's side, he's gonna be like, I don't want these items because I need the ice rod.
Right. Well, now we know that all 3 of the items are basically more or less useless in here. I mean, that mirror shield will make laser bridge a little easier for both runners when they get there, but yeah, Ice Rod is not in here. The only good news is that we don't have to go to Ice Tea today, which is slow and kind of annoying.
Yeah, no, that's not certainly like. I mean, if you can avoid Ice Tea when you do Ice Palace, I think that's at least a very small victory.
Alright, gonna take out the Bombos Medallion to break open Cold Stare Shell over here on RD Walsh's side. We only got Fighter Sword, so we're gonna have to kind of do this the interesting way by taking out the Fire Rush and just shooting him until he's dead.
Yeah, spamming the Fire Rod was a very nice fight there on Walsh's side. It goes down pretty quick. You can actually see, by the way, this is actually a pretty good demonstration of just how fast or how much time save Icebreaker gets you. Like, so Zelda entered Ice Palace after Walsh did, right? By a fairly substantial amount, and he's already basically just one cold stare by the way.
Yeah. No, I mean for Zelga, like, this is a bit of I'm just gonna skip what I can and just kind of go for it here. I mean, on Walsh's side, Walsh is still being very thorough in his checks, right? He's done Hera basement. He's done a few other things. He's done Catfish that all Zelga has not done yet. Now, I think kind of the general play here that Zelga's going to look to make is we're going to rush Turtle Rock in just a minute, and then then the hope becomes that Ice Rod is not locked behind you. Yeah, because if Ice Rod turns out to be in Swamp, and of course your good friend, you won't be able to get back in. You won't be able to save your portal. There is the problem. So, man, this we're gonna have a little bit of intrigue because we're headed up to Turtle Rock now.
As you said, as you predicted, Dave, Zelga in this case is basically, from his perspective, an Ice Rod away from go mode. Why can't the Ice Rod just be sitting here at Turtle Rock? That is a very common question that many a runner have asked. Walsh, finding King Samari on his side, does do a little bit of thinking, potentially considering what his options are. Of course, his next stop is certainly going to be Mire? Desert Ledge? One of them. He's going to go to Mire, and I guess it would also be, he's going to also make a decision as to whether or not, how many items he wants to try and get out of Mire at this point.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna see, because that's the thing. One of the big differences in the time, like you mentioned, Zelga just decided to go mode Mire. He just 100% said, "I'm not checking anything here." I wonder how much of that we're wondering how much of that had to do with the early pod clear for absolutely nothing. as we're having a little trouble getting them off the torch there.
That torch is surprisingly sturdy. like it's supposed to shake and quiver, once you make a bomb, but it didn't nothing fell the first time for Zelda, and it looks like nothing fell the second time for Walsh either.
Yep. Okay. So we got big moments over here, over on Zelga's side. We are into Turtle Rock, and this is going to kind of determine here if Ice Rod's in here. Zelga is in it has a massive advantage because Walsh is still being very, very thorough here. Going into Pendant Desert Palace before going into Crystal Ice Palace, I gotta have questions about that one.
But before Mire, you mean?
Before Crystal Mire, yes, there you go. That's the word.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, and I guess I'm kind of curious to see if he, I guess, is gonna do land mode. I can't see him doing it right now. But I mean, if you're gonna be thorough, right? That is something that could be on your mind.
Yeah, from a strategy standpoint here, I think it makes sense to kind of not do any to kind of leave your to do your mirror checks that are kind of annoying, like do Checkerboard Cave, of course, because if your Ice Rod's in Checkerboard Cave and you go up to Turtle Rock, you can't save your portal, so do that one, of course. If there's a mirror check that you haven't done, go ahead and do it really quickly.
Yeah, and especially if you try to maybe consider just try and save your portal later, right? Like any mirror checks you do now, right, is definitely going to be something that you are not going to be sad about later.
Wow, Zelga, what?
Yeah, those chomps.
What sort of the chomp RNG there, just deciding we're just gonna sit here, and Zelga's just like, I'll just casually walk around you, no big deal.
I heard Red Milk brings out the bravest out of all of us. Maybe Zelga was just not worried.
I suppose. I mean, brave, reckless, you call it what it is.
He was confident that he wasn't gonna die.
Yep.
Given that, although, so this is going to be another difference between Walsh and Zelga here is having gone and visited Capid, giving us a bird toss along the way. He also has powder, right? So this is actually going to be a really nice safety. Zelda here, normally by the time you hear Mire, you hear Turtle Rock, especially towards the very end, you got all those nice anti-fairies, and you just got some free health rebuild. Zelda does not have that option whatsoever.
No, you are 100% correct here. And the other thing here is we've got Walsh now sitting in Misery Mire, and like we mentioned earlier, Zelga go-moded this dungeon. He did not check anything in here. If the fire rod happens to be in here, oh, that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. The ice rod, right? Yeah.
The ice rod there, yeah. Right. The other one of the rods. Yeah. The rod. We'll just call it the rod.
That's right. Yes, it's our only necessary rods in this case. Now, of course, even if the sword is in here for Mire, like that is actually going to be also pretty big for Walsh, right? Because I mean, even if Zelka does find another sword later, right? The difference between master and tempered is really big.
Right. I mean, that's kind of the trick here, because if it turns out, well, the silver arrows, okay, that'll bail them out. Because I was about to say a sword would have been big if we're talking about the difference between master sword silverless and say tempered sword silverless. But yeah.
That silver's location,
it's skippable.
I was gonna say, depending on where this ice rod is, right? So if Walsh ends up finding the ice rod earlier, like, I mean, I cannot see him, because he'll be in go mode, basically, I cannot see him doing the cave. Once he gets that point.
No, you are correct here. Now I'm trying to see here. So far we have gotten a Cane of Burna, we've gotten a heart container out of here. I want to say we have 2 items left that we can get, because one of these is going to be a small key. I got 2 or 3 items left here in Turtle Rock. I mean, we're down to Laser Bridge for Zelga, and we're gonna see.
And hopefully he can save this portal by going back down by doing some non-mirror lock checks.
Right. The problem is, I mean, this is one time where you're like, sweet, I got red mail within 5 minutes, and now at the end of the game you go, oh god, I got red mail, because to save your portal here on the overworld. If you're in Dark World, you're gonna have to take some overworld deaths.
It looks like that's exactly where Zelga potentially has to go. Unfortunately, that's it. So the Ice Rod is not Eternal Rock. Zelga is rewarded with silver arrows that his opponent actually may not get later on. But yeah, Dazed. We have a lot of overworld death warping to do, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think if you're Zelga, you're gonna go do Hera basement now. You're probably gonna go do Spike Cave.
Yeah, he's trying to figure out what the best way is in order to get over there. This isn't something that you normally think about, by the way. This is not a commonly done route, so certainly forgive Zelga for trying to figure things out on the fly.
Yeah, there's a lot of going. Okay, what can I actually do here? Because I mean, I imagine you don't burn that portal immediately. There is a time where you're gonna have to burn it. And I think that time when you decide to burn the portal is probably when you go into swamp. I mean.
Yes. Yeah. So let's. Yeah. So I guess in terms of other locations that we haven't seen yet from either runner, so we haven't seen Magic Bat. Walsh has the powder from Catfish. I believe both runners actually turned in their mushroom, so that's not going to be an option in order to fake powder. So if there is something on Magic Bat, Catfish is going to be hard required. We haven't seen Bobo's tablet yet. That could be something that they're willing to go check.
I got to stop you for a second here, Clear Mouse. Walsh is having just an absolute bear of a fight here with Vitreous.
That is true, actually. Yeah.
He's burned his blue potion already. He's down to 3 hearts. He's gonna pretty quickly run out of arrows here to kill Vidi with the easy way. So this is turning into a lot.
Yeah, so Walsh is really interested in keeping 8 arrows. Trying to. Oh no! Oh,
there
no!
it is.
That was the snipe. Oh.
And that's gonna be a bad one.
Close. Oh,
you could see that he was very nervous about going into that fight because he went all the way. He did not go into mire first because he went all the way to. He fluted away and went to, what was I gonna say?
Potion shop?
Potion shop, yeah, to get a blue potion before he did. I wouldn't be surprised to see him maybe take an extra second here in just a moment. Maybe go to the upgrade fairy as Zelga takes a look, finds that it's not Spike Cave either, takes his first overworld death here.
Oh, this is the best place to take a death.
Yeah. I mean, so if you're Walsh now, maybe you might even think about going to swamp here. Quite honestly,
it certainly would not be unreasonable. And and honestly, like for some of these kind of, I would say, like longer either entries or checks, also just kind of a nice way to give Walsh a bit of a breather. Taking a death is just never going to be a good feeling, especially if you already maybe not in the best mental state. Thinking, did my opponent also do pendant pod, or was I the only one already wasted a bunch of time, right? So could also just be kind of like a mental reset for him.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, these league matches are like,
yeah, they're stressful.
They're very stressful because it's one thing when you're playing for yourself. It's one thing when you're just playing for yourself. If you lose, you basically only have to, you just kind of shrug your shoulders and go, well, hey, win against me. But when you're playing for like a team,
yeah,
you don't want to let your team down. There's that little bit more. There's a little bit more there involved. So yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. We're seeing the swamp play right now.
Looks like, hey, look at that great usage of the shield. Finally be able to block that spear throw from the moblin.
Yeah, no, it did its job. It did its basically one thing that it needed to do today. So hey, we gotta give it that there, as we're seeing some bomb dashing over here on Zelga's side, using the hook shot there, because if you just hit the A button first off, it's gonna start the bomb. But if you use the hook shot and then dash immediately after that, the dash just animation overrules everything. So it is kind of nice here. So Pyramid Fairy over on Zelga's side is gonna have the ice rod.
Oh my gosh, that is Storko mode on Zelga's side, making the correct decision in order to do Pyramid Fairy. Looks like Zelda, though. Good thing their Hinox is right outside the pyramid. He's gonna be able to take a second overworld death. Walsh finding our second sword in Pendant Swamp.
That is a
That's gonna be
good
pretty good
thing.
for him. Mm-hmm.
But the problem is he's continuing.
He
So
is certainly going to hope that in this case, the ice rod is here. I mean, we just saw, of course, on the side that it's unfortunately a pyramid fairy for Walsh's sake.
yeah, no, I mean, if you're rooting for Walsh right now, you're kind of hoping that the other two swords are also in here.
The other two, or there could be a sword on, let's say, like Bombo's tablet, right? In which case, if a sword is locking another sword, that's going to be it's not going to put Zelda in a very good position.
No, that's true. I mean, right now the problem for Walsh is that he's got to get himself back to Mire. I do understand this play though. This is I took a death on Vitreous to runner the caliber of Zelga. I need to make a play here because in Walsh's side, like everything that we kind of were mentioning about Zelga feeling, oh god, he feels behind because I did Pendant Pod and stuff. Walsh did all of the same things. So he's going to be feeling the same way. I just did Pendant Pod. I didn't need to do it. I've wasted so much time. I just took a death to Vitreous. There's probably a decent amount in his head going right now telling him, I need kind of almost a Hail Mary play.
Yeah, the decision to go into Pod and unfortunately not paying out is kind of a, it's already kind of like a not great feeling. I mean, but like a death, right, is that you're not going to be able to make that time up unless you think that your opponent also died there. Which I can guarantee you that both of these guys think that the other runner has just like flawlessly sailed through all these boss fights.
Because that's kind of the funny thing about the seed. The seed, both runners ended up doing a whole lot they didn't need to do.
Yes.
The seed was unbelievably linear. Like if you followed the path the right one, basically the decision was after doing Thieves Town first was to go up the mountain. If you did that, you had everything you needed.
You saved like 15 minutes or something like a really good chunk of time.
Oh yeah, I mean this was a killer jet seed, but I think both of these guys weren't really catching it as Zelga hits go mode there with that Master Sword dropping to Vitreous.
All right, yeah. So Zelga now as comfortable as he's gonna possibly feel basically for the seed. I'm sure he's just super relieved in order to see that sword. That means he doesn't have to go hunt anywhere. One of also a not great feeling is you clear out all of Turtle Rock, out of your crystals, you clear out the entire basement, you clear out the entire upper GT, and you're still on Fighter's Sword. You're just like, well, where am I gonna go find that sword?
Yeah, it's a bad feeling being clearing all the GT and still having just Fighter Sword here. So we'll go ahead, get your guesses in there, chat. We've got a little prediction started really super fast there. Where do you think the GT big key is going to be today? We've got a nice easy odds are even there. You've only got about 15 seconds, so you better hurry if you want to get your guesses in there. As Zelga is entering GT right now, see which route he takes. It looks like we are going to go Hope Room first over here on his side.
Yeah, so probably standard expectation is there's a small key in here. He's going to continue on to Compass Room. Looks like there is. And then once he finishes Compass Room, probably going to steal the small key after the warp portal transition, and then just going to go full left.
As we now know that there is a sword on Trinex here, so we're kind of on Walsh's side. I guess you're kind of hoping that the tempered sword is on Argus because we've cleared out the rest, and I can't imagine we'd probably come back for that big chest at this point. Wait, we already did it. Never mind. So yeah.
We in this case we found the big key on left side swamp. So at least like the way that Walsh had cleared it was correct if he wanted to get all the items in the first go around.
It does look that way here as no big key compass. Yeah, no big key on the right side. We did get a vanilla compass here, so now we know where Aga 2 is if we were confused.
There's a guy at the top of the tower. Do you think he's important?
Do you think we need to go beat the thing at the top of the tower? Nah.
Maybe. Man. Walsh is demonstrating at least that the Temper Sword is a superior upgrade to the Fighter Sword, but it's Argus. Argus, unless you have Temper Sword, is just not going to be that great of a fight. Walsh is of course very well for circumstances.
Yeah, this is one time where on something like this you almost want the ice rod to kill Argus with, because you can chain those ice rod shots a lot easier than you can chain those fire rod shots with the timing. Not have to two cycle at the end there, but either way, Argus down on his side, not finding what he needs. We're still watching Zelga as he's making his way into the map room here. We're looking for this big key. He's not here either, so we got to go deeper.
I do like the fact that Zelda, so Zelda is probably one of the players who uses medallions probably more often. He is certainly a very avid user of Ether in Stalfo's room, just in order to clear out all of them in one shot. It can be much faster than just trying to chase them all down with your sword and, you know, slash them. You gotta worry about the fireballs and the stuff was moving. Like, it can be actually a pretty good time save. Yeah,
no, definitely. I mean, one of those things that quick swap definitely has basically advanced in this game is the use of medallions, because now you don't have to menu. If you can just hit your L and R buttons fast enough on your controller there, you're going to be able to just get right to it. So that's really pretty nice there. You can use Quake and Pengator Room, Ether on Stalfos's. There's our tempered sword in this room, along with the big key.
Wow. So Zelda, you know, tempered sword, silver arrows. He doesn't even need to look for the side. He's also got 2 small keys, so his climb is going to be. He literally doesn't need anything else at this point.
No, he is completely fine here. He went from fighter sword and nothing. No silvers, nothing, when he went into Turtle Rock, to basically climbing GT with tempered sword and silvers. So yeah, life's good for Zelga. Life's a little bit less good for Artie Walsh right now, as he's heading back into the into Misery Mire here. So unfortunately for him, he's still gonna have to try to go get that ice rod at some point there. He knows that Zelga hasn't finished, but I think probably in the back of his head he's thinking there's a pretty good chance that he almost won.
Yeah, he might be like just looking at the race time room at this point and be like, when is the dot coming?
Yeah.
But of course, the good news, of course, for Walsh is that, you know, he's back. Even though he's back in Mire for a second time, he is back here with Master Sword, and you know, Master Sword is going to make the Vitreous fight a whole lot nicer than being a Fighter Sword.
Yeah, I mean, considering everything there, I kind of a little surprised that he didn't maybe take a quick flute over to the upgrade ferry there in around Ice Palace there, to be able to just, you know, stock up on things, make Vitreous a little bit less of an issue there. Because if you come in with 40 arrows and a whole bunch of stuff there, Vitreous goes from being scarier to nothing almost.
Yeah, and this actually, I think, a reasonable point. You know, so Zelda, as far as invisibility items go, right? Zelda found Cane of Barda not close to here, right? And we haven't really seen that cape. So the fact that they even have half magic and a bottle with green potion in it is not going to really help Walsh, right, in terms of safety, right? So you really want something else to hopefully, you know, either more ranged weapons or range attacks for Vitreous, or yeah, or you're just gonna have to kind of like live with basically like slow spinning, or doing things a little bit slower or more cautiously.
Yeah, no, and that is exactly it. So like, he's gonna go back into his Vitreous fight here. Zelga is already into Torches 1 up here in GT. So nice movement here, avoiding the fire bar around here, making it a nice clean route there. Just that is going to be that. Now Walsh, on the other hand, he's going to play the super safe.
Oh man, we got ourselves into a nice little corner. He's doing extremely well though. It's like all these sword splashes are almost like rhythmic, right? He's doing an extremely good job basically to keeping these guys like not attacking. Wow, hold it.
Viddy just having it in for the guy today. My God.
Oh my gosh, that lightning. All skill, by the way, that Walsh done was in order to avoid that lightning.
I mean, the crazy thing, if I remember reading, hearing that the lightning is completely random, every single like frame or something like that, or every single pixel, it chooses left or right. To go that far right, I don't think I've ever seen that. Yeah. I think that was just probably like an entire like right the whole time. Pretty crazy.
I know that was definitely quite the fight. All right, so it looks like though, you know, so Walsh is just playing probably to his win condition, right? So he hasn't seen the dot done yet. He knows if the ice rod is, I would say, let's say, more convenient location, right? Like for example, let's just say it's in a rock. Probably already lost this race, right?
Yep.
So he is trying to so if you can find the ice rod in an out of the way location, for example, on Pendant Lambo, that Zelda probably didn't do, then this is going to be a condition. This is going to be something.
Strategically, this is 100% the right play. Yeah, 100% the right play from Walsh's standpoint there. I mean, between the pod dip and the Vidi death, like yeah, this is the right play. Now we know that unfortunately it's not going to work because we see Zelga basically dropping into Ganon here in just the next second to go ahead and clinch this victory here. But for Walsh, yeah, this makes 100% perfect sense.
So most of the seed, in terms of offense, kind of wasn't great, right? Because I think we were on Fighter Sword for like the vast majority. And where were the swords, right? So one was in Pendant Swamp, one was on Trinex, so really late, right? Because that was the last dungeon that both the runners did, and then one was in GT in Randomizer. So it's like you weren't really gonna get anywhere in terms of like probably beyond Fighter Sword for the most part, but at least for Ganon you have Temper.
Yeah, no, I mean it's kind of nice there, like and just kind of the route that you end up taking there, depending on whether or not you went to Pyramid Fairy early, would kind of determine whether or not you ended up with silvers.
Yeah, that's right. It looks like actually Waltz is actually going to go for Pyramid Fairies, and this is going to be good news for him, of course. He's going to be able to pick up his Ice Rod, and he's going to be in go mode. So yeah, presumably if he continues onwards, like he's not going to be able to, he won't pick up silvers.
Yeah, but unfortunately here we got a triple setup on Ganon here for the phase 4. That is all she wrote over there on Zelga the San's side there. Go ahead. Everybody go ahead, get your GGs into chat there for Zelga as he goes ahead and clinches this first game of week 3 between these two teams as he goes ahead and crosses the line with a time of 1:23:42. GG's to Zelga there.
GG, Zelga.
And
I'm sure he is very relieved to be the first one to dot done in this race.
Yeah, it's
given
kind of
everything that has happened.
Kind of a crazy one to watch, right? Like I like it just because I mean this is a seed that I think if you had followed just the linear path of this, you might have finished this seed. Like both of these runners would have been capable of finishing this seed around about probably about, yeah, like you said earlier, maybe 15 minutes earlier. But man, crazy seed, and it looks like we've also got the forfeit there from RD Walsh at this point here. So get your GGs into chat there for him putting up a great fight there against Zelga, who we are now joined in the booth by. GGs to you, Zelga.
GG, Zelga.
Hey, thank you very much. GGs.
So, how are you feeling after the seed?
This felt kind of stressful just because it turned into an ice rod hunt and never finding a sword, like constantly low equipment. But I don't know. It seemed like until I went up Death Mountain, it felt like I was making every wrong decision, and then all the items just started getting dumped on me all at once. So I don't know. This one felt awkward almost the entire way through.
So I guess like what prompted you to do the early Eastern Pod combo or slash dip into Pendant Pod versus I guess like let's say go to Thieves Town and then immediately going up the mountain?
I tend to like to start my Dark World access at Hype Cave. Just 5 really quick checks. And then when I got a bow, I already had a hammer and a mirror. It just felt like, let's go do Eastern and Pod. Surely a 6-item green pendant pod is going to have something, right?
Surely, yes. That's what we were all thinking too.
Yeah, that was kind of the question here. It did kind of look like at some point when you went up the mountain there, you kind of switched to, I guess, more aggressively making some skips. Like you didn't check anything in Mire.
Yeah, I felt like at that point it was Ice Rod and a sword for go mode, and I felt pretty behind from the whole pod thing. So it was kind of one of those, let's just accept the god mire that the game's trying to give us and move on, see what we can find elsewhere.
Oh, it did end up working out for you there. We are also joined in the booth right now by RD Walsh. There, how you doing there, bud? GG's.
GG's.
Yo, thanks. I'm doing all right. Yo, GG's, Alga.
Yo, GG's, man.
Are you feeling okay after your vitreous performance, which was actually very dramatic to watch, by the way?
Oh God, yeah, I'm doing okay. I had like a small scream in my apartment. It's fine. No, I got some water. We're good now.
Oh yeah, that was a bit intense there to watch. There, it looked like you were a little uncomfortable going into that with a fighter sword and stuff. Like I saw you had fluted away to go get the potion and such before. Just a little bit of nerves going into that, or
A little bit of nerves. Like I wouldn't say that low percent execution is like my strong suit. Like I definitely like to have a little bit freer swords and like swamp and I'm trying next and like where Zelda said for yeah, so like I can do some of the low percent stuff, but like going into Vidi with like I had like red mail and 11 hearts, like I think like that's something that I should be able to do, but like I was just in my head all run, like like it being like a tournament race-ish thing, and like knowing that I was pretty behind and knowing who I'm going up against, like I was just like scared out of my mind. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this potion and I'm gonna get myself some more hearts and I should be able to do this fight. And then like it just went really sideways for me. And yeah, it is what it is though.
yeah, it's such a hard thing to do sometimes. Like when if you get to that moment where like I'm gonna be fine, and then like the first thing that happens is you take like a big old eyeball hug, and then you're just scrambling. And you're out of rhythm, and yeah, I can feel that there. I guess question to both of you there: climbing the mountain there, getting all of the items. What did you feel immediately after getting all of those items?
My first thought was, oh god, did he just climb straight out of Escape? But then I was like, okay, well wait, no, you need at least the mirror to make this not a disaster. So then it was, okay, is there a reasonable way to do this before mitts where I could possibly have like a flute advantage was really the big thing I was thinking. But it like I was saying earlier, it felt really bad doing almost everything off of Death Mountain before climbing. So when everything's like the fire rod, the flippers, all that starts getting dumped on me, it felt really awkward getting up to Death Mountain and just getting everything in Paradox Cave.
What about you there, Walsh?
I'm pretty much the same. Like, especially like taking the pod bait in this scene. Like, you go up to Death Mountain, you like get all the things. Like, okay, so hopefully the Ice Rod or the Red King's in a really dumb location, so that it's not a complete time sink that I did pod. Yeah, it was just like, yeah, it's hard to feel like good after like you get all the stuff on the mountain after doing a lot of stuff off the mountain, like Zelga said.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not that you guys would basically know that each other, like, basically just did all of pod, like, very early on. So you guys both did the same thing, but of course, like, yeah, you don't know that, right? So you may not feel great if you, think of certainly after Thieves Town, for example, because I think you went there first, Walsh, right?
Yeah.
So you got mitts, right? And you already have the mirror, and then, you put out the mountain for so long, you go up there, you just dump with, like 10 progression items or something, and you're just like, well...
Yeah. And like that's kind of a raid that I wish I made that like Zelgo would have probably started Hype K, because like I got Dark World access before going to Kakariko, which felt pretty good. I did open Mountain before Kakariko, so I didn't have the mirror or anything, but fun fact. But yeah, so like I got the mirror and I got the mitts and I got the bow, and it's like I probably could have thought, okay, well Zelga may have taken this and he may have gone like straight for pod, but it's like I don't know that he would have done that without like a fire source, but like it is Zelga we're talking about, he would be well versed in that, but yeah, so it kind of a missed opportunity, but I don't know. I feel okay about the pod play in most situations. Just, yeah, it just didn't go right here.
That's kind of the way it is. Sometimes Rando just gonna kind of do that to you. You'll see the decision, you'll see that, and it was just kind of interesting watching both of you do such similar routes, but in different orders.
Yeah.
For the first 40 minutes?
Yeah, there was so much divergence early on, right? Like, while she started Dark World and Village of Outcasts, Zelga, you went to Hive Cave, different Light World routing as well, and then 40 minutes later, you guys were basically just in the mountain at the same time.
Yeah, you guys are climbing up the Spec Rock at the exact same time. It was pretty funny, actually.
Yeah.
and then stuff.
Yep.
That was
Lot
a
of
very exciting race, though, to watch. I mean, it was a lot of back and forth. It's certainly very exciting, and yeah. So the low percent fights, I'm sure, maybe it was not always like so pleasant, for you guys to experience and try and fight through, but it was certainly very entertaining for us. So.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a really good race overall. And when it comes down to an ice rod hunt, it's never over till it's over. Stupid things everywhere. So there's a very realistic chance it's in swamp, and I come out on the losing end here, and that's fine. That's just the way the game plays. So it's unfortunate. I think when it comes down to like ice rod hunts, and you just making the guess at the time, but definitely GG's and. I'll look forward to watching this one back. It sounds like at least everything going for the first like hour and 15 minutes or so was probably pretty awesome.
Oh, it was awesome. The whole race. Yeah, it was definitely great to watch throughout.
Oh, definitely. We had a lot of fun over on this end, for sure. Walsh, anything you want to add there before we log this thing out for the day?
Yeah, just thank you guys for the commentary. Thank you, Zalgo, for the race. Hopefully, we can salvage a split out of this, but like we know that you guys are good, so this is definitely one of our tougher weeks here. Yeah, looking forward to the rest of the season, and thank you to Yonkers Bike for tracking. Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, I just want to second that real quick. Thank you guys so much for doing all the back end work on this. I really appreciate it. Obviously, we're gonna do the races without a restream, but the fact that you guys are willing to like showcase this and get a little bit more eyes on it, that's really awesome, and I know I really appreciate it.
Well, I can tell you, it's just speaking from myself there, it's always fun watching you guys run here. Always fun.
Yeah.
Always fun being able to be with my co-commentator tonight, Clear Mouse there, who, this is always a good time, together here. If you guys are looking for more rando goodness here, we got another race coming up here in just about, what are we looking at? 25 minutes or so here on SpeedGaming 2. That is going to be... Oh no,
I was actually just going to ask, do you guys have your other league match for Casual Boost scheduled this week?
Yeah, it's scheduled. Shady Force and Jay Meisher are running sometime on Sunday. I want to say like 4 p.m. Eastern, maybe something around that.
Yeah, 3-4 or something like that. Yeah.
And so like I said, we're gonna have another match here in just 25 minutes or so. It's gonna be Asder and Moogle Charm. That's gonna be Shack Tools Digging Game versus Mogliacci, and we're gonna have that's gonna be a lot of fun there. So make sure to stick around for that. And other than that, anything else we want to talk about there to Clear Mouse?
No, you covered so much. And again, I just want to say thank you, Walsh, and thank you, Salka, in this case for, obviously putting on such a really fun race, a very entertaining race for us. You guys are obviously very seasoned runners. Always a pleasure to be able to commentate for you guys. And of course, Days, I have many words, probably not enough in order to describe, what a good co-commentator you are. So.
Well, yeah, no, this is always fun here, and everybody make sure to stick around for the rest, and we'll see you guys sometime soon. Take care of yourselves.